And good evening, basketball fans. Welcome to the Palacio de los Deportes de Oviedo, live here in Spain for this Group A fixture, game day 4 here in the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers between Spain and Ukraine. Well, these two teams only met a few days ago at the Xiaomi Arena in Riga, Latvia, which it was a convincing victory for Spain, led by 20 points. Georgia picking up two crucial victories in this window and looking in fine form indeed. We'll take a look at the standings. Remember, the top 3 teams of Group A will automatically qualify for round 2. Well, Ukraine began window 1 with 2 convincing wins against Denmark. They got to try to turn things around here on the road. And like I say, shooting 6 3-point field goals in that defeat against Spain just wasn't enough. Well, this Ukrainian team featuring some up-and-coming players along with some veteran players. The likes of Alexander Lepovi, number 11. Now, he, along with Artem Pustovi, are the only 2 players on this team that have represented Ukraine at a FIBA Basketball World Cup. And that was back in 2014 in Spain, in which they did pick up 2 victories against both Turkey and the Dominican Republic. Well, Ukraine's final game of that Basketball World Cup back in 2014 saw them go up against the United States of America, where Stephen Curry and one James Harden combined together for a total of 31 points to lead the United States to a victory of 95-71. They've only ever played in one Basketball World Cup. Well, those Ukrainian fans, of course, coming live here in Oviedo to watch their country play. Of course, they're still in very strong position to try and finish in the top 3 of Group A. But a win tonight would only further enhance their chances of potentially getting to round 2. While Spain, on the other hand, 2-time winners of the FIBA Basketball World Cup. Of course, winning back in 2006 at the Saitama Arena, led by Pau Gasol in that epic, very instrumental, convincing win against Theo Papaloukas in Greece. And then they won it again in 2019 against Luis Scola in Argentina. They actually defeated Luis Scola back in 2006 in the semifinals when they had Pepe Sanchez and Manu Ginobili. But Spain, regarded as probably one of the greatest, if not easily a top 3 best in the history of international basketball. Well, Spain were fantastic on the road in Riga. Like I said, it was a convincing win for them. And, you know, when you're able to get 3 of your best players in double figures, Alvaro Cardenas, Ferran Bathas, and also Jaime Fernandez, who won the Eurobasket with Spain back in 2022 in Berlin. Spain collectively with 55% from the 3-point line, 15 out of 27. Because neither Ferran Bathas or Alvaro Cardenas missed from the perimeter. They were both 4 out of 4. Spain, of course, finishing with 11 offensive rebounds in that game. But, you know, in typical Spanish basketball style, it's all about points in from the turnovers. Spain's offense all predicates from the defense. They converted 14 points off of, or 13 points off of Ukraine's turnovers, excuse me. 12 second chance points, and dominated with 45 points inside the paints. Well, the Spanish national team, currently coached by Chus Mateo, assisted by Paco Redondo and Guillermo Frutos. The second assistant coach, Nizam Almanzar. Of course, won the FIBA U19 World Championship back in 2023 with his teammates in Debrecen, Hungary, taking on France in the final. Of course, also going to see the big man, Frank Guerra, tonight. Of course, representing La Laguna Tenerife from the Basketball Champions League. But, well, fans, now indeed it's the best part of the evening. As we are live here in Oviedo, we're going to embrace and respect the culture and diversity as we listen to the national anthems of both Ukraine and Spain.
Y con todos nosotros e interpretado por la Real Banda de Gaitas de Oviedo, el himno nacional de España.
Well, it's a beautiful moment. Of course, it's international basketball. It's the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers as we embrace the national anthems of these two beautiful countries. Because Spain's national anthem, the Marcha Real, is one of only 4 national anthems that doesn't actually have any lyrics. But again, 2 beautiful national anthems of both Ukraine and Spain, as now coaches and players will shake hands, pay each other homage. Because now we're moments away from looking at the starting lineups. But before we do that, we'll introduce 4 very important people for this evening's game. And those are our 3 referees and 1 commissioner and technical delegate. Well, here at FIBA, we're very proud to say that tonight we have 3 of the very finest here in world basketball. Of course, you've probably seen them at Basketball World Cups, Eurobaskets, and even the Olympics. From Croatia, we have Martin Vulic. From Poland, we have Dariusz Zapolski. And from Turkey, we have Orhan Çağrı Hekimoğlu. The commissioner and technical delegate for tonight's game is João Nuno Crespo. And a big thank you to all of our referees who've done a magnificent job. But now we'll take a look at the starting lineups, and we will begin with Ukraine. Well, Denis Lukashov, Ivan Tkachenko, Andriy Voinilovic, Dmitro Skapitsev, who was their leading scorer. Actually, no, excuse me, it was Alexander Kovaliar who led them in the defeat against Spain at home in the Xiaomi Arena, because Kovaliar had 15 points. Well, it's a big night for Einar Bagatskis, because Nose is up against a tough opponent. But the key thing for them, if they can't get a victory on the road, they will go 3-1. Like I said, top 3 in each group. Specifically here in Group A, will go to round 2. Well, Cardenas is one of their leading scorers, along with Jaime Fernandez. But Ferran Bassas will start on the bench. Sergi Martinez, Santi Justa, and the big fella from La Laguna Tenerife, Frank Guerra. So quite a combo tonight coming from Tenerife this evening. Well, when you talk about legends of not only Spanish basketball, you got to talk about this man in the widest scope of the European game. And one better than to have Chus Mateo try to lead this team, of course, to yet again another FIBA Basketball World Cup. Like I say, Spain have gone to 14 Olympics. They've gone to 13 Basketball World Cups. They've won 2 of them, and twice they've been hosts. Because we talked about being hosts in 2014, in which Ukraine did feature in that World Cup. But it was back in 1986 when one legendary Fernando Martin led that team. Well, the Tissot countdown to tip-off is underway, our official sponsor for tonight's game. And a big shout-out to Tissot for a magnificent partnership and collaboration with FIBA International Basketball for many decades. Ukraine understands one thing tonight: the points in the paint for Spain aren't only going to come from the bigs. The gods like to play the dribble, penetration, kick-out game, but everything with Spain, as I mentioned, predicates on the defense. They're going to try to force Ukraine anywhere on the floor to force a bad shot or a turnover, and then quickly Spain will like to get into transition, convert those turnovers into fast break buckets. We are now moments away from tip-off. Coach Bagatskis just trying to get some final words in with his players. Well, Jaime Fernandez and Frank Guerra, teammates in the Basketball Champions League as well as Liga Endesa, ACB in Spain. So we're going to see The island combo tonight from those two players. Like I said, when we return from the international break, they will go back to the round of 16 where hopefully they can try to lead Tenerife to another quarterfinals and maybe all the way to Badalona for the 2026 BCL Final Four. But for now, it's international duty. All roads ending in Doha 2027 for the Basketball World Cup. Well, tempo is going to be so crucial in this game early on. And the thing for Ukraine, like we said, they've got to take care of the basketball. They cannot afford to commit too many unnecessary turnovers. And, well, they've got to limit the amount of points in the paint, and that goes to second chance points as well. Welcome, everybody. Group A fixture, game day 4 of window 2. We're live here at the Palacio de los Deportes de Oviedo. It's Spain hosting Ukraine. Can Spain go 2-0 against Ukrainians? Frank Guerra jumping that one with Skapintsev. Spain getting first possession. Alvaro Cardenas currently in the backcourt. Now Santi Justa. Now he could be a useful scorer for them. Frank Guerra setting that ball screen for Jaime Fernandez. Time is winding down. Finds his La Laguna Tenerife teammate, and there it is. The Tenerife BCL combo. Well, Frank Guerra's really come into his own as a dominant center. I mean, so many years. Of course, playing as a backup to Yorgi Shermadini with Tenerife. Skapintsev, nice footwork, but he's unable to finish. He's got to be able to knock that one down as here comes Spain. Alvaro Cardenas now finding Frank Guerra. Now, he doesn't usually have a mid-range game, but the big fella. Well, he's played for two Chuses. Right now, Chus Mateo, but when he goes home, it's with Chus Vidareta. Which one's developed the... Well, it's going to be a foul on the ground. That foul's going to be called against Sergio Martinez. Martinez just trying to get a seal off in the paint while having to defend one, now picks up his first personal foul. Qualifiers will inbound this. Remember, he led Ukraine in that defeat against Spain only a few days ago. Qualifiers trying to work the ball screen, pulls up in the mid-range, neatly tucked away. Well, he's got to come big tonight. Like I said, even with his 15 points, it wasn't enough. The only other player to get into double figures was Dmitro Skapintsev, who set that ball screen for him on that last play. Ukraine only had 6 3-pointers. This, unfortunately, did finish the game with 14 turnovers. Now, they did have 7 steals, Ukraine, so they've got to be able to take care of possession, considering Spain did have more turnovers than Ukraine in their victory. Fernandez again denying the screen from Guerra. Guerra going for a bit of slip action, but now Fernandez will step back. Well, if you go back to 2022 at the Eurobasket, he was crucial in the backcourt. Because that time playing with Unicaja. But now trading the sunny coast of Spain for the beautiful island of Tenerife. Oh, Ukraine going for a 3. That's a good look, though. Oh, Dimitrios Skapintsev's got to have some confidence in his shot. He's got to keep taking it if they're going to leave him wide open. Now a foul is going to be called on the ground. Santi Justa just causing a lot of problems here for Ukraine's defense. Because any Spanish national team you go up against, or any team in the ACB, if you're defending, you're probably going to have to defend about a 50 to 100 ball screens. Now takes a deflection, but that's going to remain possession of Spain. Oh, Vojnilovic doesn't feel like he got the last touch, but Spain will get it back. Fernandez again, the driving force here in the offense. Finds Garrett, good action, kicks out, one more pass. Trademark Spanish ball, Santi Justa from downtown. Well, they hit 15 against Ukraine at the Xiaomi Arena. There's number 1 for España. Ukraine still that only 1 field goal come from Kovlia, but now he tries to attack the paint, goes in, and gets denied. Skapintsev comes up with it, has to kick out. Ukraine will get another crack at it. Kovlia's got to kick out again. Ukraine go for a second 3. Those are 2 good looks. but they've got to go in at some points. If not, it's going to be a long night here for Ukraine. Well, for the third time, Jaime Fernandez denies the screen, but he gets denied at the bucket. Good rotation defense, but can Ukraine convert down the other end? Oh, a lot of time and space. They go for a third three. Every look, and that's going to be an offensive foul, and that's unfortunate. I mean, nobody can argue Ukraine's shot selection has been great so far, but unfortunately for Dmitry Skibitsev. I mean, look at this. Here is the rejection time coming from Voinilovic. Three-pointer now would give Spain a double-digit lead. Skibitsev, unfortunately, picking up his second personal foul. It could spell trouble for Ukraine's offense and defense in the moments. It's now Kadernas. Looking here with Frank Guerra. Houston made his last three, and he makes another one deep in the corner. And already a double-digit lead, and we haven't played 4 minutes. Spain's quest to get back to a 14th FIBA Basketball World Cup. Many now arguing it's the transition period for Spanish basketball. But if you follow the FIBA youth competitions in the summer, the future's definitely bright for España, for La Familia. So the deflection goes out of bounds. Spain will get this one back. Well, he had to go to the bench at some point. Dmitry Skibitsev does have 2 fouls. Time winding down here on the shot clock. Lukashov. They get a 3 off in time. It's a 4th attempt and finally gets one to go as Andrei Voinilovic in the corner. Well, he had his foot on the line, so it is a 2-point field goal. Ukraine diligently having to work for every single bucket they go for. They've only got 2 at the moment. Cardenas. This time uses a screen from Frank Guerra. Wide open on the baseline. That's way too easy. Well, Sergi Martinez was uncontested, unguarded. Quite a hot screen set by Bobrov. Look at the anticipation by Santi Yusa coming out for the help side. Bobrov may have got away with a move and screen, but probably if you're a backcourt player, you don't want to run into his shoulders if he's going to set a screen. So whoever's defending Bobrov, you got to tell, hey, he's coming, he's coming. Gaskis just watching on here at the moment. His team down by 10. Kovlia does well to get around the defense. Bobrov, offensive rebound. Frank Guerra preventing any second chance opportunity points. Kovlia goes for another 3. 5th attempt. Well, great fight by Bobrov. And there it has it. When Guerra came out of the paint, all of a sudden, the second chance points opened up for Ukraine. Fernandez dribbling into trouble, but Yusa's able to come up and help. Both teams with 4 rebounds currently. Yusa's made 2 threes. But Guerra does enough to tip to Jaime Fernandez. Frank Guerra wants a post-up. He's got a mismatch. Help side coming. Martinez wide open. Well, he'll fire another 3. But again, it's just way too easy here for Spain. And another one. Wow. Are you kidding me? Well, Ukraine just able to come up with possession. When people talk about Spanish basketball, I always talk about the defense. But they probably don't get enough credit for just being so fearless, relentlessly challenging for offensive rebounds. There's Santi Yusa. It gets another one. But right here, Sergi Martinez runs in. And you can't coach that. That's intrinsic motivation. The change coming in is now Francis Alonso, who plays for CB Briogan in the city of Lugo in Galicia. It's a Spanish ACB, I would say arguably, is the greatest, yep, that's right, #1 international basketball domestic league in the world. The 3 goes flying. Well, that went from Alexander Lepovi, and that's going to be another offensive foul from behind. Well, they're going to call this one. Yeah, on Daniel Shelist. Well, there's a 3-pointer by Lipovi. Well, Bogatskis, one of the legends of Latvian basketball, just watching his players. Only down by 8 points at the moment, but they don't want this margin to get too big. Alonso coming off one screen, defended by Bobrov. Goes to his right and has a kick out. Well, time winding down here for Spain. They're going to have to force up something. Another penetration, finds that separation and high arc, but it rolls its way out. And this time Ukraine preventing an offensive board. Spain still leading the rebound count by 2. Lipovi looking for a kick out somewhere, but nobody open. That's the backdoor play. Kovlia, another kick out. This is better for Ukraine, but they don't go for the three-pointer. Well, here comes the interception, and now Spain have numbers. Goes in, but he's unable to get the out one, but free throws coming up for Spain. Chus Mateo already thinking about making changes. It's a very deep lineup that Spain do have indeed. Fran Guerra will go to the bench. Well, Ferran Basas into the lineup. Alvaro Cardenas will also go to the bench. Like I said, a lot of options they can go for. Well, he is a legend, Pierre Oriola. He's also quite a successful movie star as well. If you go back to the film Hustle, in which Juancho Hernan Gomez featured alongside Adam Sandler, Pierre Oriola was in that film. It was at the trial time when, of course, they met head coach Scariolo. This Pierre Oriola also featured for Ike Athens for one season. That was back in 2023-24. Also played in the Basketball Champions League. Zlatov. Lipovi left wide open. That's another good look. And again, Ukraine. I said it time and time. They get good looks. They just can't convert them. Ferran Basas' quick handoff. Chris Boldman coming from Spain. Alonso goes to his left. Unable to finish. But again, Spain just fight for it, but it's going to go out of bounds. Well, Pierre Oriola didn't quite realize when he tried to save that one, his foot was on the baseline. But look at this. Oriola battles for it. Nearly comes up with it. Well, was he out of bounds when he had possession? That's the question. As Alexander Kovliar goes to the bench, he's only 1 out of 5 from the field so far here for Ukraine. Ukraine have attempted 12 field goals, 6 3-point attempts. Haven't knocked down any so far. High pick and roll here for Zlatov. He goes for 3, number 7. That's way too short. And it just isn't Ukraine's day so far here in the first quarter, but still plenty of basketball to play. Audio Pauli into the lineup now here for España. Well, Chus Mateo rotating a lot quite here in the first quarter. A lot of confidence in all the players coming off the bench. Still yet to see Izan Almanzar. There's no doubt he will be coming into the lineup at some point here for La Familia. Spain make the extra pass. They go for 3 in the corner. Back iron can't get it. But can Ukraine build something here? Coming off that double screen. No options though here. Lipovi has to try to go in for a Euro step, and that's much better, but he misses it. Well, he did the hard pot, but just couldn't meet him at the summit. It's Ferran Basas. Well, nice little pick and roll sequence, and Pierre Oriola will now go to the free throw line. And again, it's every bull screen Spain sets. It causes too much disruption, too much heartache and headache, as now Izan Almanzar will come into the lineup. Cedric Martinez, of course, having gone to the free throw line already once this evening, does have 3 points, but Santi Justa is leading Spain at the moment. He's currently playing for Manresa. Just 33 years of age. Now nearing the mid to end of his prime of his career, but he's been a fantastic ambassador for the Spanish national team. Unable to get the second one. 10-point lead currently here to Spain. Live in the city of Oviedo. Foul was called on to Shishnik. Well, Zotov demanding a screen. Nobody came for him. That's going to be, wow. I think they're going to call a foul here on Zotov. Oh, Vitaly Zotov just pushed off. There's some double change coming in now. Here's Arte Pustovi into the lineup at the moment now for the Ukrainians. Because Pustovi actually does play here in the ACB as he plays for Morabank Andorra. Like I said, he along with Alexander Lepovi, the only two players on this Ukrainian national team that's ever played for Ukraine in the Basketball World Cup, and that was here in Spain. Pustovi played one game, and that was against the USA in their final matchup. Another three by Alonso. Bobadov coming up with a rebound. Trying to find an outlet. It's Kovliar just trying to use the speed. Another kick out. Kovliar goes for a contested three and finally gets one to drop here for Ukraine. Now 1 out of 8 for downtown here in the third quarter as they cut it down to an 8-point deficit. Ahmed Saad doesn't take many three-pointers. Ukraine preventing the offensive ball for Spain. Kovliar. Pustovi not much of a three-point threat here for Ukraine. But they've got to keep setting ball screens. Try to break the defense down. Oriola switching. Kovliar gets caught a double. Lepovi goes for another one. It's on target, but an offensive board. That's better here from Ukraine. Dishnik now finding Lepovi and has a foul on the ground. That's only going to be the 13th foul, but I believe that will be. That's only going to be number 1 on Ferran Basas. But now Ukraine have better movement when players don't have the ball in his hands. And smart play by Bobrov, just identifying the mismatch. Kovliar coming off that double screen. Bit of a Spain action coming from Ukraine on the ball screen. Lepovi penetrates, draws another one. That's going to be Spain's 4th and final team foul. And Alexander Lepovi will go to the free throw line. Well, no free throws. Actually, the foul was on the ground. I stand corrected. But neither Spain nor Ukraine have any fouls to give. Kovliar gets it from the mid-range. Back iron. Lepovi tries to battle, but Spain comes up with it. Alonso tries to wheel his way in. Can't get it. Good defense by Pustovi, but that is the end of the first quarter. Second matchup between both Ukraine and Spain here in window 2 in Group A of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. But Spain at the moment holding on to a 7-point lead against Ukraine. Well, we'll take a look at some of the key stats here from the first quarter, and then we'll run down the best plays. But so far, Spain looking like they have the advantage against Ukraine. Well, neither team really getting it going from the perimeter so far, but as mentioned, Spain just do have a slight advantage in a few areas. One of them, of course, being points in the paints, which we did see over 40 of those in the first time they met at the Xiaomi Arena. But now we'll take a look at the highlights momentarily from the first quarter. Well, Spain's pick-and-roll action here at the moment. Like I said, we saw 4 early points coming from La Laguna Tenerife's Frank Guerra. Now, who coached him the mid-range? Chus Mateo or Chis Vidareta? Either way, you can count it. Speaking of La Laguna Tenerife, Jaime Fernandez putting on a cooking show already. Well, there was Kovliar getting the first 2 points for the Ukrainians. The movement here. Alvaro Cardenas working diligently with Frank Garrett. Goes to his left and kicking out to a wide-open Santi Justa. Wide open? I don't think so. And Doris Pustovi put a hand up, but no problem for Santi. Well, this was the good pull move we saw here from Ukraine. Because it was Kovlia who led them with 15 at the Xiaomi Arena a few days ago in that 20-point defeat. But so far, he has Ukraine's first three-point field goal. Well, if you love international basketball, if you love the FIBA World Cup qualifiers, download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, schedules, and scores. Use that QR code and download Courtside 1891 today, the home of international hoops. Still a lot of basketball to play so far in this game. It's only the first quarter, but Spain don't want to get too comfortable, too complacent here at home. Welcome back. Live here in the city of Oviedo. Game day 4, Group A. Another hot screen set by Vyacheslav Bobrov. Seems like he's got a mismatch. Got it by Alonso. Pustovi from 15, but that's way too short. Guardiola coming up with a rebound. We want to go back to Ferran Bassas. Bassas already 1 assist so far in this game. Another penetration, but time is winding down here for La Familia. And there's a step back. There's the prayer three-pointer. The rebound has been secured. Lepovi doing his job, preventing the offensive rebound. As Bobrov draws a foul, but I think that's going to be called on the ground. And that's going to be number 2 against Ferran Bassas. It's twice now Ferran Bassas is caught on that mismatch against Bobrov and had to intentionally foul him. As now Luis Costa coming into lineup here for Spain. So Bassas with his 2 fouls will go take a breather. He's got some blood coming from his elbow. Well, he's going to have to go get a plaster or a Band-Aid to get that coagulated. Still a single deficit here at the moment. Ukraine's only made 1 3. Now make that 1 out of 11. It's not going to cut it tonight against Spain's defense. Not too dissimilar in terms of the rebounds here this evening. Guardiola bringing Pustovi away from the bucket. Alonso again goes to his left. Nice dime, finds Oriola. And P.O. will go back to the free throw line. What a time by C.B. Briones. Francis Alonso. I mean, he had to throw that one on points. Well, Pierre Oriola was a part of that Spanish national team that did win the Basketball World Cup. The only World Cup champion. Because at the men's level, Izan Almanzar, who's on the box out there, won it with the U19s in Debrecen. But of course, from Ricky Rubio, Marc Gasol led them, and Juancho Herrera Gomez. It's a big victory, in that convincing victory against Argentina in the final. Foul was called on Bobrov. 8-point lead currently here to Spain. Ukraine just trying to work. Bobrov having to catch a tough one. Wants to take on Almanzar. Using the strength against the young man. It's a tough one, just cannot get it. Almanzar, good defense. And coming up with the rebote. The foul is going to be committed by Alexander Lepovi. Well, that time Lepovi was just trying to slow down the transition. Didn't want to allow Costa to find anything quickly. So another change coming in for the Ukrainians. So coming back into lineup is Bonilovic. Well, nice idea, trying to find Oriola again, but that time very well defended and covered by Ukraine's defense. So it will be a turnover here to Spain. It's only the second one so far here in the first half. Kovlia forces Spain's defense to switch here on the backcourt. Still has it. Time is winding down. He's got to make something happen. Well, he's got to shoot it. Goes in with a little scoop hook. That's going to be a 24-second violation. Well, Qualifiers is a very talented, very elite point guard. But when the ball stays in your hand for too long in the offense, you've got to build trust and confidence in your teammates. Well, Tatishnik just going to the bench here for Ukraine. Spain looking to make it a double-digit lead again. Non-stop movement here from the Spanish players. Finding Pierre Oriole, can put him up by 10. He buries this one. Well, he's come ready to play. Indeed, it is Pierre Oriole time. And a timeout called by Ukraine's head coach Bagatskis as he wants to talk it over with his team. So far, great start for Chus Mateo's players. Game day 4 of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers here in Group A. Let's head down to Ukraine's bench to find out what Coach Bagatskis has got to say. Well, there was a little pick and pop action with Pierre Oriole. Right now, I'd say he's probably been the undersized big man here in the. Now, they do have Izan Almansar out there, but you know, Spain played very quick basketball. Go back to any FIBA Eurobasket or Basketball World Cup that they've won. I mean, they're bigs. Whether we're talking about Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol, I mean, they all come out to the perimeter. They all defend 1 through 5. It's all a part of the system. Because the golden era of Spanish basketball, which I still feel persisted today, is when Pau Gasol, Jorge Garbajosa, Juan Carlos Navarro, Jose Calderon won the Basketball World Cup. Because Alex Mumber was a part of that team as well. Oh, Pustavi gets a hard foul now. He'll go to the free throw line. Foul is going to be against Pierre Oriole. Well, I'd say Pustavi has been a fantastic journeyman throughout his career. Because he's playing for quite a... I mean, he's probably spent the bulk of his career playing in the Spanish ACB. Of course, most notably with Badalona, UCAM Murcia, Gran Canaria. Of course, he was an ACB champion back in 2021. Cutting it down to an 8-point deficit. Pustavi's got to have at least between 10 and 20 to give this team a chance of competing tonight here against La Familia. Bit of pick and pop action with Oriole. Well, nice backdoor, but a little bit too much on it. The right idea. Because you could see on that play, Pep Busquets was ready to go baseline on the backdoor. The team's only committing 3 turnovers so far here in the first half. Pustavi, got to go to work, big fella. Got to go for it. He's got to make it. Battles. But again, Pierre Oriole's defense simply not giving anything away. No foul. Oh, the foul is going to be called in the end. It's a delayed call. I don't think Ivan Tkachenko is too happy with that, but it's going to be called against Andriy Vojnilovic. That's going to be his first personal foul. Let's have a look here. Well, that's a good call. I mean, he doesn't get the ball. Makes all contact with both hands, if you like. It's now Oriole partly at the free throw line. who's now entering the prime of his career, is originally from Girona, but currently playing for Forcelleda. Cruz did play 6 solid seasons with Gran Canaria. Also won the Liga Endesa Spanish ACB in 2023. Back to a 10-point lead here for Spain. To Ukraine's credit, they've actually done a good job of dealing with the intense man-to-man defense here from Spain. So that time, Qualifiers are unable to get the and-one. But it does mean a trip to the free throw line. The foul is called against Odiopoli. But this is much better, because now you can see Qualifiers just trying to get into the gaps, trying to make himself a little bit more of an offensive threat. Well, Alexander Qualifiers currently playing in Crna Gora in Montenegro. This season currently averaging 7.3 points per game domestically. But he's unable to make the first free throw. Well, 2 seasons ago, he actually played here in Spain for Obradoiro. Because that year, he only averaged 6.5 points per game, but prior to that, he was in BC Calif Cramo. It goes out of bounds. Ukraine will retain this one. Great work by Artem Pustovi. Because one of the few times you're going to see Spain fail to come up with a defensive rebound. And that's another big test here for Ukraine. They only have 5 offensive boards tonight. You can try to win that battle, win some second chance opportunity points. There's no reason why they can't get back in it, but they've got to improve their 3-point percentages. Qualifiers. Another little teardrop, but it goes in and out. And now here comes Spain in transition. Only had the extra pass in the corner. They go for another 3. It's up. Al-Mansah unable to come up with a weak side offensive board. Ukraine's got to figure out ways how to break down this defense. Qualifiers goes all the way and makes the layup. Well, now he moves up to 7. Remember, he had 15 the last time these two teams met a few days ago. It's a very aggressive defense coming from the Ukrainians. As we've already seen, as Al-Mansah seal off, and that's way too easy. 2023 U19 World Cup champion, and he wants a taste in Doha, Qatar. Ten assists already here for Spain. Pustovi. And that's going to be a reach from behind, and Spain's final team foul to give away. It's on Pep Busquets. That's where Ukraine do have a mismatch. I mean, not many people are going to be able to defend Artem Pustovi. Well, they get another look from the 3-point line. They've only made 1, and there's a second triple of the night for the Ukrainians. Well, 2 out of 11 from downtown. Lukashov getting his first field goal. Still a single-digit deficit. Al-Mansah coming up with that ball screen. Options there on the teardrop. Pustovi tries to save it, and he does just that. Alexander Qualifiers. 7 points so far this evening. There's a spin baseline, another foul. Now, no basket, fouls on the ground, but it does mean Vojnilovic will go to the free throw line because Spain have put Ukraine into the penalty with 4:39 to go. As Alvaro Cardenas checking back into the lineup here for Spain. Luis Costa will go to the bench. Third trip to the free throw line now here for Ukraine. Trying to cut it down to a 2-possession deficit. Because he had a 20-long-year career as a player, starting at VEF Riga. This Bagatskis, as I said, one of the legendary players of Latvian basketball. Odiopoli picking up his second personal foul. Spain still lead by 5. Santi used to back in the lineup. Because trying to make a cut down the middle. There's a pump fake. Fakes the pass, goes in. But again, the paint protection coming from Pustovi. A solid Ukrainian insurance policy. Kovliak coming off 2 screens. As big Artem coming up for another bull screen. Kovliak gets the defense on his back. Tough kick out. Final seconds. He's made 1 3. Not the highest percentage look, but you can credit that down to Spain's rotation. Because defensively, they're always switching, picking up. Well, a timeout is going to be called by Chus Mateo. He wants to talk it over with his players. They've led by as many as 10. And that's been sliced in half by Ukraine. So we're going to head down to find out what Coach Mateo is going to address to his players. 3:52 to go here in the second quarter. Spain with 2 field goals more from within inside the rainbow. Both teams with 2 3-point field goals. Let's listen up. Well, Chus Mateo, of course, has had a very decorated coaching career, starting with Spain's U16 national team back in the early 90s. Of course, worked as an assistant with Real Madrid, Unicaja. Because his first break came in 2006 as head coach of Cathedral Zaragoza before going to Fuenlabrada. And the only time he's coached outside of Spain was when he went to China's CBA in 2012 with the Shanxi Brave Dragons. This team now known as Shanxi Raptors Club. Spain looking to extend their lead. Ukraine just having a bit of belief on their offense, but now can they replicate that defensively? Well, they're going to call an offensive foul, and that is a poor offense because they enabled the switch on defense, which brought Artem Pustavia away from the paint. And it's little mistakes like that. Chus Mateo is going to ask questions of his players at the halftime break, but now we're under 3.5. Ukraine looking to make it a 1-possession ball game. Trying to build something here, getting the defense on his back. A lot of contact. There's a kick out, another 3. And now all of a sudden it's a 2-point ball game. As Ukraine knocked down their 3rd triple. Vojnilovic from downtown. Well, he now becomes joint leading scorer for the Ukrainians with Kovliak. Hope is still alive for the Ukrainians. As Jaime Fernandez checks back in for Pat Busquets. Also checking back into the game, Sergi Martinez. Dmitro Skapitsev, who picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter back in, so he cannot pick up a 3rd one. Tkachenko getting called for the foul for Ukraine. Fernandez getting that screen from Frank Guerra. Brad twisting baseline, almost losing it, caught in a double, almost turns it open, inadvertently finding the deep 3, but it doesn't go in. And Ukraine doing a better job preventing the offensive rebounds, holding Spain only to 3 so far. And as of that board, they now lead the rebound count with 19. Another 3 goes flying. Well, the euphoria of making the 3rd one, but now they got to defend. Spain looking to extend the 1-possession lead. Fernandez looking for Guerra. Santi Houston makes that extra pass. Oh, nice pass by Alvaro Cardenas. Finding Sergi Martinez on the backdoor cut. And it's back to a 2-possession ball game. 5 points now for Sergi Martinez. 11 assists collectively tonight here for Spain. Bit of a ghost action coming from Tkachenko. Well, it's another turnover now. Here comes Spain. They have numbers. Here we go. But again, a poorly mistimed alley-oop. And I think you heard the reaction from Chus Mateo, as that's going to be turnover number 5 for Spain. Now remember, Spain had 16 turnovers in the 20-point victory against Ukraine, 2 more than the Ukrainians. But the speed at which the Spanish national team plays at, I mean, it's inevitable they're going to commit turnovers. They play so quickly. That's the turnover count between them, 9 in total collectively between both. Shot being heavily defended by Jaime Fernandez. Trying to backdoor play, but again, it's another one. 5th turnover for Ukrainians. Justa weighs up his options. 3rd steal of the game already here for Spain. Cardenas throwing it down, but good hands on defense. Ukraine have to recover here. Spain don't take advantage. Fernandez was wide open in the corner, but Justa, he'll fire a 3. As the rebound comfortably falls in the hands of Dimitrios Kapitsev. Oh, Lukashov's made 1 3, goes for another one. That's a good look. But Denis Lukashov unable to knock it down. So we're seeing good execution on both ends of the floor. Martinez, a little teardrop, just cannot get it. Neither team with any fouls to give. Spain with 3 more field goals from inside the 3-point line currently than Ukraine. Oh, Ukraine, they're going to throw it away, make that 6 turnovers. And a jump ball is going to be called, so that means, I believe, trying to remember who won the jump ball tip. I think the possession arrow does go in favor of Spain because Ukraine had won it. What this does mean is Ukraine will have first possession in the second half. So 22.7 seconds left here in the second quarter. Chus Mateo wants to draw one thing up here because they will have the final shot. So let's head down to Spain's bench to find out what Coach Mateo is going to say.
Cuando queden, vas a pasar el medio campo. Vamos a llamar así. Vamos a llamar eso. Cuando queden 8, vamos a jugar el puño girando. Quick con Francis. ¿Vale? Quiero que se la demos a 5. Son 5 pequeños. Son 5 pequeños. Van a cambiar entonces. ¿Vale? Vamos a rodar. Vamos a rodar con nuestro pequeño. Damos el mano a mano.
Well, not a lot of disparity within the stats. I mean, Spain do have 3 more field goals from inside the 3-point line, but I think where Ukraine has had a better run so far here in the first half compared to the last time they met is Spain haven't been consistent from the perimeter this evening. There was Alvaro Cardenas finding Sergi Martinez on the back door. Final play of the first half coming up. Ukraine don't have any fouls to give away. Alvaro Cardenas being heavily defended here currently by Vitaly Zotov. They'll dribble it down. Frank Guerra getting ready for the bull screen. Bobadov comes up for the switch. Jaime Fernandez pulls up 3. Muchos gracias. Jaime Fernandez of La Laguna, Tenerife buries it from downtown. Well, you knew it was coming. It was initially set up for Alvaro Cardenas and Frank Guerra, but then Jaime came into the picture. Well, he'll give Spain a 7-point lead at the end of the first half. Like I say, a low-scoring first half, and defensively, both teams have made it very difficult for each other to get their execution underway. Ukraine currently only 3 out of 15 from downtown. Spain also with only 3 3-point field goals, but 3 more from within inside the perimeter. That's been a huge difference. Because Ukraine also with 21 rebounds, Spain with only 20. Spain only 3 offensive boards thus far here at the moment, but where they really hurt Ukraine in the last game was points in the paint. That's what Ukraine's trying to get rid of, eliminate, but neither team with any players in double figures, but there are your stats. So now it's time to look at the highlights here from the first half. Well, while it is a low-scoring game, but at the end, you got to admit it's been good execution, but good defense from both sets of players on both teams. Well, here was Pep Busquets. That chime trying to find Paulie off the curl. And he had an option with Pierre Ariola, and there was just a little pop out there from the mid-range. Well, he's a FIBA Basketball World Cup champion as of 2019. He'd like to lead this team to Doha and try to win another. Here was Qualifiers. That time avoiding the block from Izan Al-Mansah. Qualifiers been their most dangerous player in the backcourt. That time getting the ball screen from Vojnilovic. Well, they've got to keep attacking the paint. Put Spain's front court defense under pressure. Can they get more of that from Qualifiers? That is going to be the key question tonight here for the Ukrainian offense. Ukraine have some success, of course, when they go to these ball screen scenarios. Here was another nice little play in the kick out. That was Vojnilovic hitting the third 3 of the game for Ukraine. This intelligent backcourt play coming from Vitaly Zotov, just getting the defense on his back. And at that point, Sergi Martinez had to overhelp. And that's a high percentage look. Nobody can argue with that one. Well, it's the end of the first half. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Oh my goodness sakes, that's a throwdown.
Goes in for the dunk.
Good night. Too big, too strong, and just too good.
Bogdanovic, who goes in and scores. Ah!
This is what it's all about.
It's all one big basketball family, folks. Winning time. Both teams over the limit. You have got to be kidding me!
It's another player based in northern Portugal, in Porto. Russell! Oh my, look at that for a three-pointer. We talk about the dangerous shooters from outside for Romania.
He passes back outside, the three-pointer from Vojnilovic. And it's a three-point game right at the end of the quarter. Wow!
Again, throws it up, already makes it. That is unbelievable from Yamada. And it'll be a chance for a 4-point play. How good was this?
4.5 minutes it took him to get that first bucket. Oh, and the rejection! For Turkey, Cedi Osman, tough take and foul. Goodness me. And that's why he played in the league.
Take inside, throw it down, big man. Lazic saw an open hole and took it.
Francisco gets it, decides to shoot it. Oh, are you kidding me? Silva Francisco with the dagger.
Well, get it rejected to Bellis. Said not in your house. And oh my goodness, both ends of the floor.
His name is Agiulas Tubelis. What a play. Atsi Prashao, excuse me.
The score is wrong on the board. It's an 82-81. Lloyd steps back for the game. Oh, Jordan Lloyd for the win. Silence in the arena. Jordan Lloyd has broken the hearts of this Latvian crowd. Steps back, releases. It's clearly good. Jordan Lloyd has a 37-point game, but the last three are the most important three.
Got to get it in bound. Fredriksson goes behind the back, goes up for it. Ah, baby! Good night, Iceland! Elva MVP Fredriksson has done it. Down 21, but together, collectively, they found a way, and they came back and won it. Are you kidding me?
Papa Nicolau says, give it to me.
Go attacks to close out. Bruno inside.
Fills it up. It's all right.
Welcome back, everybody. Live here in the city of Oviedo for game day 4 here in window number 2 of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers, with Spain currently lead by 7 points against Ukraine. Well, Ukraine's 2 leading scorers, both with 7 points apiece, are Andriy Vojnilovic, but Alexander Kovliar at the moment looking like their most dangerous player, also with a rebound and 2 assists. Well, he's 1 out of 4 from downtown. Ukraine only 3 out of 15. Well, Spain, on the other hand, 25% shooting 3 for 12 from the perimeter, but they've got to find other ways to get, players like Artem Pustovi in the game. I mean, it's not that Ukraine are playing bad basketball. They're getting good looks. They're executing the game plan, but it's been a very low-scoring game for both teams, to say the least. Here was Kovliar's penetration, narrowly avoiding the block from Izan Almanzar. Nice little hesitation that time, defended by Luis Costa. And no help side defender was going to come in and stop Kovliar. All exciting stuff goes from him, but can he maintain this excellence going into the second half and try to get Ukraine a victory? Well, it's been the Santi Eustace show here at the moment. Only 2 3-point field goals, and he has 6 points. Coach Eustace, it's been quite a regular for the Spanish national team, and whether it's Eurobasket or in this case FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Alvaro Cardenas, that time using the screen for Frank Guerra, and then found out that Santi was coming to town. Even when Tukachenko's had his face. No, that time it was Andriy Vojnilovic, excuse me. No problem for Santi Eustace. And to Ukraine's credit, they've actually done a very good job of, preventing Spain from getting into the paint as often as they would like to have done. Well, still a whole half of basketball to watch. Now remember, in this Group A, there's Denmark, Georgia, Spain, and Ukraine. Both Georgia and Spain have indeed qualified for round number 2. So it means there's going to be 1 position left. Whether that's going to go to Ukraine or Denmark, we'll have to wait and find out. Well, it's the second meeting between both Spain and Ukraine here in window 2. The first game was played in Riga, in Latvia, at the Xiaomi Arena, in which Spain comfortably won with 15 3-point field goals by 20 points. Because defense isn't the issue right now for Ukraine. It's offense. They've got to find consistency, more identity in their offense. Well, to their credit, they're actually doing better in terms of rebound. They're 1 rebound slightly better than Spain with 21. They do have 2 more offensive boards. Because Vyacheslav Bobrov leading Ukraine with 4 rebounds. Kovliar leading with assists. Vojnilovic, as mentioned, joint leading scorer with Alexander Kovliar with 7 points apiece. Well, the one thing Ukraine's had to deal with is just the relentless nature of the bull screen scenarios coming from Spain this evening. Because Alexander Kovliar currently playing this season in Crna Gora, Montenegro, where he is actually averaging 7 points per game domestically. Andrei Vojnilovic, actually playing in Azerbaijan. He played this season in the Basketball Champions League with BC Saba. Because they were only able to come up with one victory and didn't progress to either the play-ins nor the round of 16. And who is his coach? Lithuania's national team coach, Rimas Kurtinaitis. Well, Santi Justa, 4 points and 4 rebounds away from a potential double-double this evening. He also has 1 assist for that matter too, but more likely he's going to get a double-double as opposed to a triple-double. That's never been achieved actually in FIBA Basketball World Cup European qualifiers. It has been achieved 3 times, but only within the Asian qualifiers. So we've almost seen a quadruple-double happen in the American qualifiers with Reynaldo Garcia for Cuba. Also a potential triple-double in the African qualifiers with the likes of Sidiman Kanute of Mali. Well, Justa, I think he'll be happy knowing that his team are going to round 2. But remember, whatever results you gain in round 1, they will also play a factor in round 2 to find out if you can qualify for Doha 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup. Spain, 2-time champions of the competition, led by Pau Gasol in 2006 at the Saitama Arena in Japan, and then by Ricky Rubio in China in 2019. Of course, on both occasions, they had to defeat Luis Scola in the semifinals in 2006 and then in the final of 2019. So both finals Spain's played, and it's been one-way victories for them. Very convincing. Well, Jaime Fernandez getting that final field goal at the end of the first half. He now moves up to 5 points. He got the opening field goal the first half and the final one. Currently playing for Chus Vidoreta at La Laguna Tenerife. But for Spain, no player is bigger than La Familia, than La Rioja. Because the golden era of Spanish basketball, some would say it was back in the 80s with Fernando Martin when they actually hosted the World Cup. But then others would say, no sir, indeed, no senor. It was from 2006 onwards when they actually won that first FIBA Basketball World Cup. And only have to look at Spain's youth development pathway. National teams. The future for Spain does indeed look bright. Nizan Al-Mansar was very much a part of that great golden generation of young players. Well, we are now moments away from tip-off. Coach Begatskis, one of the legends of Latvian basketball. Coach began his career back in 1985 with VEF Riga. A 20-long-year career of excellence, featuring for the Latvian national team in many various clubs and also played all over Europe for that matter. But his sights tonight, can he get Ukraine to pick up a 3rd victory? That is going to be the big question. Chus Mateo probably would have had a lot of words with his players at halftime. Remain undefeated, knowing they're going to round 2, but they want to carry on the success in round 1 because the more wins you have, the more likely you are to get to Doha 2027. Let's listen now to Coach Begatskis.
Потом вторая опция, как бы играли высокие заслоны, по той игре сейчас, как переходит центровую линию, Дима, ты идешь, ставишь заслон высокий, степа, нападаем, и чем сразу слыть. И у тебя есть пространство, 2 игрока в углах, смотреть, разбросать. Нет, это сейчас просто как голова, 5. Перешел в центр, уже сразу один из вас. Здесь Андрей Адolfo.
Well, fans, use that QR code and download the official World Cup qualifying app where you can customize your experience following your favorite teams and players, getting all the best news and highlights and content that matters to you most. Follow your favorite players and teams right from the qualifiers up until Doha 2027. The World Cup qualifying app downloaded on your smartphone, tablet, or Android. Of course, it's window number 2. Window number 3 will be happening in the summertime, end of June. Good start for Frank Guerra early in the first quarter. Welcome back, everybody. Live here in the city of Oviedo. Game day 4. Spain currently leading by 7 against Ukraine. Both Spain and Georgia have already qualified for round 2. Ukraine getting first possession. Bobby flashing high post. Bit of a tough pass coming from Vojnilovic. Vojnilovic out of control, nowhere to go. Time winding down here for Ukraine. Trying to get past the defense. That's going to be a 24-second violation. What did I tell you? With Spain, it all begins with the defense. And Bagatskis not happy with that offense. And Bobrov just carefully listening. So, Coach, I'm not in the game right now. I can change that if you like. This is where Spain will want to build as much momentum as possible. Try to run away with this early on. Well, there's Frank Guerra. He was wide open, gave it up. Justa, well, someone else take it. I've got a better shot, but he's got a better one. Well, I meant to say I've got a good one, but he's got a better one. As Martinez knocks it from downtown. 4-3 of the night here for Spain. Kovlia in and around. Nice little finger roll action. Well, he now moves up to 9 points. Still Ukraine's leading scorer. It's that time the foul is going to be called against Ilya Tushishnik. Second foul against him. Well, if Ukraine can keep this into single digits and not allow it to stay too long into a double-digit deficit, there's always that belief they can try to somehow gain control of this one. Fernandez gets a high screen, goes behind the back, and that is the La Laguna Tenerife combo. Well, in the BCL, you've seen that time and time again. And that's going to be a third foul against Dmitry Skapintsev. Well, now they're coached by Chus Mateo. In the BCL, it's Chus Vidareta and the Tenerife combo. You gotta love it, indeed. Guerra makes a three-point play. Now moving up to 7 points. Second foul against Vojnilovic. Kovlia just getting this one back. Heavy defense coming from Jaime Fernandez. I think that's going to be an illegal screen, and if so, well, that's going to be foul number 3 then against Skapintsev. Yep, second, well, indeed, that's going to be second play of Ukraine with 3 fouls. The other one being Daniel Shelist. Fortunately for Ukraine, they don't possess the same depth as Spain. And that's going to be an offensive foul against Santi Justa. Just throwing Alexander Lipovi to the ground. Well, Spain have built an 11-point lead. They don't want to get too emotional here at the moment. They want to run away with this one here in the third. Because one thing Ukraine's not going to do, they're not going to give up. Only 3 3-point field goals this evening for Ukraine. Lipovi attacks the gaps. A lot of contact, and he'll go to the free throw line. Because he's had a tough evening, Alexander Lipovi. 0 for 4. Does have 3 rebounds, but a chance to get his first points and maybe cut this down to single digits. Ukraine have only taken 6 free throws so far. They're 4 out of 6 from the charity stripe. Lipovi misses. He is currently playing in Romania with CS Rapid Bucuresti. Second one good. Back to a 10-point deficit. 2 minutes played here in the third quarter. Alvaro Cardenas just trying to alleviate the pressure coming from Ukraine's backcourt. Martinez finding Santi Justa. Well, Jaime Fernandez, excuse me. Fernandez crosses over, goes in and around, bumps, goes in. And now he will go to the free throw line. Oh, very quick, aggressive move, and that is going to be another foul here against Ukraine. Well, that's the third player to get 3 fouls. So Ilya Tereshnik, like Danny Shelist and Dmitry Skapintsev, all with 3 fouls each. Fernandez makes the first one. Well, he's from the capital, Madrid, Spain. Started his career in La Laguna de Argentina in Madrid with the Estudiantes, one of the most historic teams in Spanish basketball. Well, he was a part of that Eurobasket championship team in 2022, defeating France in the final. Biggest lead of the game currently for Spain. A lot of contact. They had to call that foul because Fernandez was almost bear hugging him. It's on Alvaro Cardenas, excuse me. Spain only have one foul to give. Ukraine don't have any to give. Aggressive defense coming here in the third quarter. Down the middle, goes in, throws it down with two hands. And they've got to get the big fella more involved. Great play by Skipintsev. His first field goal tonight, cutting it down to 10. But Frank Guerra's got 7. Well, he's got an isolation opportunity. Well, I think Frank Guerra should have isoed. Everybody cleared out. The paint was open. That's a case of being a little too unselfish. We already saw that in the first half with Frank Guerra. 7 turnovers already this evening for Spain. Skipintsev coming up to that screen. Kovlia, he's made 1 3. Doesn't get this one. Spain coming up with a rebound. Now they have numbers. Cardenas bumps. So now he'll go to the free throw line. And it's just the speed and veracity that Spain play at. Those calls are going to be inevitable. The only thing you can hope to do is try to stop Alvaro Cardenas already in transition, make it a little bit tough. But if he goes that quickly at you, well, he's going to foul you. Well, you're going to foul him, obviously. And Alvaro Cardenas standing at 191 centimeters. Guess he's played so far in all of Spain's games. Had 16, as I mentioned already, at the Xiaomi Arena. And he was 4 out of 4 from the perimeter. It's the only time in the 3, take this game away, the 3 games he's already played here in the qualifiers that he scored in double figures. That's his 6th free throw in 4 games here in the qualifiers. 4 out of 6 in all games. First 2 points tonight for Cardenas. That's a 12-point lead. And that's going to be Spain's final team foul. Alvaro Cardenas, I don't think he can have too much argument here. I mean, he's locked him up. This game's going to go either 2 ways. Either Spain's going to build a 20-point lead before the 4th quarter. Ukraine's going to be able to attack the gaps. Spain don't have any fouls to give. Upami goes to his left. Nice kick out, but again, poor pass. Not a lot of time for Kovlia. Has to put up a prayer of a 3. It's up and finally gets another one. Lukashov with his 2nd, but only Ukraine's 4th of the evening. Cutting it down to a 9-point deficit. Almost 4 minutes played here in the 3rd quarter. Neither team with any fouls to give. Fernandez. Well, he made his last 3 and a little too short. And he saves it. Well, that's hustle. And they already had 1 Spanish player star in that film. This time, good anticipation. Ukraine have numbers. They'll go in. Spain unable to prevent. It's a 5-0 run for Ukraine. Well, can they keep it to single digits? Or can they come back here in this last 5 minutes and 30 seconds? With the seal-off, Houston. There's an unnecessary foul committed by Jaime Fernandez. And here's what Spain don't want to do is get too tactical, too technical. Just got to keep scoring, building this lead. It's now Pierre Ariola, the veteran, the World Cup winner, into the lineup. Just to establish a little bit more leadership. So looks like a bit of a small ball lineup if Frank Guerra's gone to the bench. Off Ukraine, Denis Lukashov. It was the take in transition by Tadishnik. So he now moves up to 5 points. Ukraine now 6 out of 9 from the free throw line. Lupovi now with only a second point. He hasn't got a field goal so far this evening. But in his defense, he's come up with 3 rebounds. Unable to connect. Second missed free throw for him. 6-point lead still to Spain. Ukraine's only ever been to one FIBA Basketball World Cup. As I mentioned, it was in Spain. Well, Fernandez had a wide open look. Guardiola will fire a 3. Too short. Nutmeg time, but Ukraine come up with it. The key thing here for Ukraine is Kapinski cannot pick up a 4th foul. Bit of a slip screen action. Kovliak goes in and out, makes it a 2-possession ball game. Ukraine hanging in there. Becoming their first player in double figures. But a foul committed by Kovliak. This will just send Spain to the free throw line. Well, he didn't need to reach. It's only his second personal foul. As now Alonso, CB Briogan's finest, into the lineup. Jaime Fernandez will take a breather. .444 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Ferran Bathas, that's his first point of the evening. Of course, the only other stat he had is 1 assist. Of course, he picked up 2 fouls in the first half, which did see him go to the bench. And he makes them both. Well, Ferran Bathas, of course, like his teammate, Frank Guerra, has one accolade they share in common. Champions of the BCL. Alonso fires it up. And CB Briogan's Forza Breo from downtown. Lugo time. 5th 3 of the night for Spain. First field goal for Francis Alonso. 9-point lead, and that's going to be an illegal screen. Well, Odio Poli coming back in the lineup along with Izan Almanzar. Spain looking to build a double-digit lead with 4:11 as Martinez along with Santi Yusa will go to the bench. What is? That was my fear. Skapinsa picks up his 4th personal. And they didn't need that, but they do have Artem Pustovi to come in the lineup here for Ukraine. Well, they get the big man away from the bucket, finds Almanzar in the paint, goes for a tough fadeaway, and somehow, someway, straight off the bench, ice cold. Great save by Izan Almanzar. 11-point lead to Spain. Nice kick out, had a wide open look, but a foul is going to be called. That's not a bad move. Andriy Vojnilovic will go to the free throw line. He's got 7 points this evening. Ukraine only with 1 player in double figures, and that's Alexander Kovliak. Ukraine 60% from the free throw line this evening. Vojnilovic, 3 out of 3, hasn't missed one this evening. Second one good, just gets it to rattle in. Well, this should help out Ukraine's defensive mode as they bring in Vyacheslav Bobrov. 9 points this evening from Vojnilovic. Under 4 minutes. Bassas just trying to lead here. Alonso made his last 3, goes to another one. Ukraine happy to let that one go out of bounds. Spain have now attempted 17 3-pointers. They've only made 33% of the amount they converted against Ukraine. The other night they played against each other, but that can very much change. Lupovi hesitates. Still got it, penetrates. Bobrov doesn't take many threes. Probably not the shot Ukraine wants. As here comes Spain, looking to reclaim a double-digit lead. Spain now just narrowly leading the rebound count against Ukraine. Bassas coming off that Spanish pick and roll. Oriola's got a mismatch against Lipovi. Time winding down, Bastos penetrates. Finds Pierre Oriola. Foul committed, but he doesn't get the and one. But P.O. will go to the free throw line. I thought it was an alley-oop almost, but Oriola currently 2 out of 4 from the free throw line this evening. Because only 4 points. He has 1 field goal from that little pick and pop scenario we saw in the second quarter. Just gets the first free throw to rattle in. Second free throw, no good. It's a second personal foul called against Vyacheslav Bobrov. Still only 10 points separating Ukraine and Spain. Bobrov coming up for the screen with Kovlia. Bit of a hesitation there by Daniil Shelist. Ukraine again just looking to attack the gaps, but time is winding down. Bobrov, mismatch, gotta go up with it. Tough play, but the follow-up is good. And counted, he'll go to the free throw line. Only the 6th offensive rebound in this game, and it's on Alonso, excuse me. Look at Spain, crashing tripling. But what a nice follow by Shelist. But on Abe, another offensive board. Make that 7 for Ukraine. Ukraine only with 4 second chance points this evening. Spain don't have any for that matter. Shellis spins. Bobrov comes up and make it a 4-point play. And it's back to a 6-point deficit. Ukraine not going anywhere. Bobrov coming up with a second field goal. Can Ukraine keep it to single digits before the 4th quarter? Can they tie it up? Gonna have to defend here as Alonso kicks out. Bastos pump fakes. Goes for it. Doesn't get it. Amansa fights and he comes up with it. Alonso attacks. Out of control, but they're gonna call a foul on the ground. Wow. I would say Tkachenko's got to calm down. This is still a ball game. Cooler heads need to prevail at the moments. And he's still arguing. If I'm the captain of this team, I'm going over. I'm saying, listen, it's okay. Don't worry. We're in this. But he cannot be doing that. It's Francis Alonso currently at the charity stripe. Hasn't taken a free throw this evening. He's only 1 out of 4 from the field. That was the 1 3-pointer he converted. So makes the first one. Spain 14 out of 18 from the free throw line. Because he's living the life in Galicia. Enjoying the Lupo of Lugo. It's a very much basketball fanatical city of CB Brogan. Second foul against Tkachenko, but I'd say he's lucky he didn't pick up a technical. Very lucky indeed. 8-point ball game. Kovlia attacks. Oh, again, he could have gone up with it. Shellis. Another offensive rebound here for Ukraine. Kovlia on the corner can cut it down to 5. He's made 1 3. Shellis, another offensive rebound. Lukashov. Just not going to go here for Ukraine. Well, some good looks, but 19 3-pointers attempted for the Ukrainians. Or 20, excuse me, but only 4 converted. Boss is trying to free up space, now forcing a switch. Oriola inside the paint. It's way too easy as he extends Spain's lead back to 10. Oriola now moving up to 7 here this evening. Bobrov has taken 1 3. He'll go for another one. Now it's back to a 7-point deficit, and that could be a 2 for 1 for Ukraine. But Spain get it inbound quickly. Bobrov has 7 points. The margin of which that separates both Ukraine and Spain at the moment. Tkachenko getting beat off the dribble again, taken right into the paint by Audio Poli. Ukraine can have the final shot here in the 3rd quarter. Single-digit deficit. Can they slice it down a little bit further? Spain don't have any fouls to give. Tkachenko penetrates. Well, nothing called. Tkachenko felt like he got fouled, but you can quite clearly see he's got to calm down. It's still a ball game. He's too good of a player. He's too valuable to Ukraine. You can understand his frustration, but it's a whole nother quarter to play, and it's only 9 points that separates Spain and Ukraine. Well, this game's slowly coming into life much better here offensively in the third quarter. Spain have the advantage. We'll take a look at some of the key stats, and then we'll run back the best highlights. Both teams 5 3-point field goals. Spain with 1 field goal more inside the rainbow, but they just got to the free throw line much more often tonight. Well, time now to go back. Let's look at the highlights from the third. Well, once Spain's defense turns it up a tempo, there was the Tenerife combo. Because Spain have been able to convert 14 points from Ukraine's turnovers. That might be the play of the game. Well, there's Chus Mateo way, but this is Chus Vidaretsa. That time, Guerra could have easily dunked that one, but decided to be unselfish. Sharing is caring in the end. I've got a good shot, but in the end, I know full well Sergi Martinez has a better one. And the proof was in the pudding. Well, there was the dunk down by Zapset, but unfortunately he had 4 fouls picked up in the third quarter, so he did have to go to the bench. But credit to Ukraine's defense. They've only limited Spain to 18 points in the paint, where you compare that to the defeat they had a few days ago. Spain had 45. Well, Tkachenko that time getting it in transition. Ukraine did go on a 5-0 run. If you love the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers and international hoops, download Courtside 1891, where you can get all the best live streams, scores, and schedules. Courtside 1891, the home of international basketball. Martin Pustovi into the lineup here for Ukraine as the natural center. Well, it's been an exciting second half so far. Welcome back to the Palacio de los Deportes de Oviedo. It's game day 4 of the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers, a Group A fixture. Spain holding on to a 9-point lead against Ukraine. Because the atmosphere has been fantastic tonight from both the Spanish and Ukrainian fans. But who's going to come up with the victory? Alonso will step through, kicks out. Oriola goes for another 3 and extends it indeed to a 12-point lead. 10 points tonight for Pierre Oriola. He now indeed is the first player in double figures. Foul is going to be called against Francis Alonso. As Denis Lukashov just causing a few issues there. Ukraine finding Bobrov, getting bumped. Well, Pustovi was wide open. They didn't get it to him. Now Kovlia, step back's got to put up a tough one, and that's way off the mark. Oh, the Spanish coaching staff and Chus Mateo infuriated, but fortunately, they weren't allowed to continue. 9:14 to go here in the fourth quarter. 12-point lead to La Rioja. Bass's just being a floor general. That time felt there was going to be a backdoor play by either Pierre Oriola or from Francis Alonso, but it ends up being Spain's 10th turnover of the game. Lukashov curling the screen. Ukraine must believe in themselves. Bobrov coming up for the high screen. They go to Lukashov in the corner, and that's going to be an offensive foul, an illegal screen set by Vyacheslav Bobrov. Well, he's set a few hard ones already in this game. It was only a matter of time before he was going to get called for one of these. indeed is his third personal foul of the game. No, yeah, it is, yeah. Spain looking to extend their momentum. Poli throws it in. What a play down the middle. Well, he had to keep that one under control. And Oriel Poli indeed moving up to 6 points. That time Ferran Bassas just reaching from behind. Well, Tikachenko's going to go to the bench. He'll take a breather. And he's played some good minutes so far in this game. But just hasn't been enough so far. There's a kick out. Lipovi, 3, corner. Cutting it down to 11. Ukraine must believe. Almost 2 minutes played here in the fourth. That's the 6th three-point field goal of the game. Oriola getting bumped. Not a bad foul to give away. Well, it's very clinical execution by Ukraine. Lipovi picks up his second personal. Interception by Lukashov. Can Ukraine push? Now Kovliar. Kovliar attacks down the middle. Another foul. No basket that's called on the ground. And that's going to be Ferran Bassas' third personal foul, I believe. Or is it? No, that's his 4th personal foul. My apologies. Because that was the problem with picking 2 early ones up in the first quarter. So Bassas goes to the bench. Still there's depth here for Spain. As Alvaro Cardenas back in the lineup. Bobby comes up with it. Someone's got to get open here. Kovliar pulls up from 15 on the baseline. Well, no push in the backcourt against Izan Almanzar. It was Andriy Vojnilovic who went into contest the offensive rebound, but Lipovi unfortunately picks up his 3rd personal. Shuff will go to the bench. He'll take a breather. Well, back into lineup is Ilya Tadishnik. Still an 11-point lead to Spain. 7:30 left here in the fourth quarter. Remember, Spain and Georgia have already qualified for round 2. 1 spot left for either Denmark. Oh, good defense by Pustovi. As he just reminds Pieriola, no senor. Pustovi puts it on the ground but turns it over. Alonso comes up with it. Almanzar down the middle. Well, he had a wide open look in the corner, but in the end, elected not to find Oriol Poli. 12th turnover of the evening here for Spain. They had 16 in the victory the other night against Ukraine. Big ghost action coming from Tadishnik. Kovliar attempted 7 threes. Make it 8, but he's only made 1. Ukraine come back up with it. You got to give it to Pustovi. That's going to be on the ground. And Spain's final team foul to give away. So Ukraine again has got to take advantage of being in the penalty. Well, great take by Kovliar, but he misses it. Well, he's expecting a foul, but now here comes Spain. Cardenas hesitates. Alonso, pump fakes, fouled. And he'll take 3 free throws. Oh, very intelligent play. Muy inteligente from Francis Alonso because he knew Tadishnik was behind him. Watch here. Well, Tadishnik should have no... Just wonder. I think he was fouled on the ground, to be honest. Pieriola going to the bench for Spain. 10 points tonight, was 2 rebounds away from a double-double. We couldn't see him enter the play again, but it's 6:31 left. So Alonso makes the free throw, taking his tally up to 6 points this evening. He has 2 assists as well. He's 1 for 4 from the field. But 4 out of 4 from the charity stripe thus far. Eight points tonight for Francis Alonso. Back to a 14-point lead. And that foul is going to be called on the ground now. I think the argument from Ukraine was that he was in the process of shooting. So, yeah, I think they are going to change this. That's a pump fake. I don't know, to be honest. Tough one indeed. But Ainis Begatskis is going to get teed up, so maybe they haven't upgraded to 3 shots, and that's probably why he's been teed up. If it's 2 free throws, I'd have to agree with the initial decision because the foul looks like it's on the ground. But either way, he was going to go to the free throw line because both teams are in the penalty. Now Alonso has been perfect from the free throw line this evening. So 6 out of 6. Because that is probably the most beautiful sound in the history of basketball. Alonso 1 point away from becoming Spain's 2nd player in double figures. Still, they're being led by Pierre Oriola. Biggest lead of the game now for La Familia. Ilya Tijishnik makes the first free throw. Well, he's currently playing in Italy. Still only a very young kid indeed. And a very young, hot prospect for the future of Ukrainian basketball. Well, he's only 17, and he has 7 points tonight. There's a backdoor, and Almansa, easy throw down with 2 hands. Nobody home in the help side. Ukraine's defense completely falling asleep. Well, good hands, and that's going to remain possession to Ukraine. 5:56 to go here in the 4th quarter. Spain, like Georgia, have already booked their tickets to round 2. So we may have to find out in window 3 who's going to join them for that 3rd spot. Tijishnik can't come up with it. Spain want to run. Quick transition. Cardenas finding Alonso. Cross-court pass to Almansa. Poli calling for the screen, doesn't get it. Time nearly winding down. Alonso may want to think about taking this one. Still has it. Goes up with it. Can't finish, but the follow-up is good by Oriol Poli. And that is the DNA of Baloncesto Español. Follow in for second chance points. Spain's the kind of team, if you make mistakes, they'll make you pay. If you get things right, they'll still make you pay. Timeout called by head coach Begatskis. Well, use that QR code and download the Fantasy League where you can register and play. Use that QR code and download Fantasy League. Well, Ukraine were able to cut it down to a 2-possession deficit in the 3rd quarter when they went on a 5-0 run, but this is very fair to say that they just don't have the same depth as Spain. Because you look at it, only the 1st quarter now here in the 4th quarter has been the real big difference between these two teams. But considering that both Ukraine and Denmark will both be battling to try and snatch that 3rd place to get into round 2 of the World Cup qualifiers, the Ukraine's got to keep battling. Well, the big thing for Ukraine, of course, they may not actually have to win another game to get to round 2, but the reason why you'd want to win is simply because the results you get in round 1 will come into play in round 2. Now, if Ukraine actually wins tonight, if they were to make a comeback, they would actually go to round 2. And they had the 17-point win on the 30th of November against Denmark. Now, hypothetically, if Ukraine were to lose their final 2 games, one of them being against Denmark and lost by more than 17, it would be Denmark. And if Denmark were to win the last 2 games, well, Ukraine would not be going to round 2. Tishnik penetrates, finds Lipovi, fires up a 3. Now he cuts it down to a 14-point deficit. 5 minutes left. We've already seen one 21-point comeback here in the European World Cup qualifiers from Iceland against Lithuania. Anything is possible in international basketball. Alonso fires 3. Forza Breo, now becoming Spain's leading scorer. Well, he now moves up to 12. Second 3 for him. Foul is going to be called. So free throws coming up for Ukraine with 4:34 left. Santi Justo was actually Spain's leading scorer at the end of the first half. Back in the lineup. Artem Pustavi just makes the first free throw. Ukraine have attempted 16 free throws, knocking down 11 of them. Unable to get the second one. Pustavi just hasn't been much of an offensive factor. It's not because he has been working hard. They just haven't got the ball enough to him in the paint. Because they haven't utilized the big man here this evening. Nice penetration, a great finish by Alvaro Cardenas. And there was no stopping him. 4 points tonight for Cardenas. That's his first field goal. Little pick and pop action from the perimeter. That 3 beautifully tucked down as Ukraine now make the 8th three-point field goal, but it's still a 15-point deficit. Wojnarowicz now actually becomes their leading scorer at 12. Well, Spain will go for another one. Not going to finish. Alonso's got 12, keeps it in his right hand. That's not going as Lipovi comes up with a rebound. Ukraine continue to battle back. Lukashov just held onto it too much, but that's going to be a moving screen against Artem Pustovi. Jaime Fernandez getting ready to check back in here for Spain. Well, Pustovi, that might be his evening done. Well, he picks up a technical foul in the process too, so indeed, yep. So no, I think you heard the official. It's not a technical on Artem Pustovi, it's a bench technical. Because he was originally called for the illegal screen. So it's going to be one free throw coming up for the bench technical here. Well, 3:28, Spain can extend it to a 16-point lead. They will get it back due to the illegal screen committed by Artem Pustovi. That's a good call. He wasn't set. As Fernandez knocks it down. Spain 20 out of 24 collectively from the free throw line this evening. Or 19 out of 23, excuse me. That's another look at the illegal screen set by Pustovi. Now we're under 3.5. Well, Frank Guerra doesn't take many 3 points. And somebody give Chus Villareta a phone call. When, oh, when have you seen Frank Guerra make a triple? Are you kidding me, Fran? I better see that in the BCL when we return for the round of 16. Well, Frank Guerra, full of surprises. Well, that's going to be another Ukrainian turnover. I think Bagatskis is going to use a head coach's challenge. I'm not sure head coach Bagatskis, he's called for the head coach's challenge. I don't think he needs to say any further because he's going to get it now. So the players will have to go to the benches. So officials will go to the monitor to find out what further action needs to take place. We'll have a look at the replay to find out if this took a last touch off a Ukrainian defender, or player, excuse me, or a Spanish defender. Let's have a look here. Very tough, inconclusive from that angle. I have to get something closer to be a little bit more definitive. Here was the initial ball screen. Watch here. I think Ukraine has a case there. I think that comes off of Izan Almansa. The officials now are going to have to make a decision. A bit closer now. Almansa gets the contact there. I think that may be very well definitive, because I'm not sure Andrei Vojnilovic gets a touch on this. I don't see it. Now it's down to the referees to see if this is going to be a successful head coach's challenge, which would mean the call is going to be overturned. But we'll find out. Let's see if we get a better angle from here. There's the contact off the knee, the left knee of Izan Almansa. That's pretty definitive. It doesn't touch Vojnilovic. Well, I think it's going to be a successful head coach's challenge, maybe. The fact that we're still looking at the replay tells me maybe there's something I'm missing. I don't know. Yep, so successful head coach's challenge. Ukraine will get it back. So 11 seconds on the shot clock here for Ukraine, down by 19. 2:58 to go here in the fourth quarter. Well, get it inbound. Dmytro Skapitsa back in the lineup after picking that fourth foul in the third quarter. Little teardrop, and a foul is going to be drawn. Again, you got to love what you see from Ilya Tjishnik. 7 points this evening. There's a lot to like about this young man. Currently playing academy basketball in Italy at Basket Academy Catanzaro. Well, only 17 years old. And to be doing the things he's doing now at the men's level here in the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers, that says a lot. Now moving up. Points tally's had quite a good game, to say the least. Second personal foul called against Frank Guerra. Almansa. Oh, Santi Eustace, so quick and clinical and efficient. Curled the screen and just went in with a little teardrop. Eustace's first field goal here in the second half for Spain. He probably made his last three. Not going to get this one. Almansa comes up with a rebound. Spain comfortably just going to take their time here with these final 2 minutes and 11 seconds. 10 assist difference in the disparity between these two teams. Fernandez goes in, and what a BEA, beautiful play. Little finger roll magic. And a timeout called by Ukraine, trailing by 21 with 2:04 to go here in the fourth quarter. It's been Spanish excellence so far since Ukraine cut it down to 5. Well, Ukraine have a very talented team. I just argue maybe they're 2 players away from really being able to contest against both Georgia and Spain here in Group A. But you look at the rebound count. Well, Ukraine led at halftime. They led at the end of the third quarter, but now it's Spain who's taking control of this. Well, Ukraine's got to pick up anything, any positives, because like I said, they're still battling with Denmark for that third place here in Group A. Denmark still winless in the FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. If Denmark win their remaining 2 games, which one of them will be against Ukraine, and Ukraine lose their remaining 2 games. If Denmark win by more than 17 points, well, it would hypothetically be Denmark that go to round 2 of the qualifiers. A win tonight for Ukraine would have meant they would go to round 2 with both Spain and Georgia. But look at that little curl screen action and a little kiss off the bank from Santi Justa. And here was Jaime Fernandez. Goes back out, denies the screen. Well, he was one of the main reasons Spain won the Eurobasket in 2022. Now we're into 2 minutes. Ukraine just trying to build anything they can. There's the baseline penetration. Shot's made 1 3, makes another one, cutting it down to 18. Just over 100 seconds left here in this game. Denis Lukashov currently 2 out of 4 from the 3-point line. A little bit of ghost screen action coming from Santi Justa. And again, Jaime Fernandez still has it. Spots up. Crane coming up with a rebound. Lukashov goes to his right. Well, Tkachenko goes in now, cutting it down to 16. If Ukraine had this consistency when they got it down to 5 points, this could have been a very much different ball game. Tkachenko's only first field goal tonight coming here in the 4th quarter. Because now with just over a minute left. That was Ukraine's 14th assist collectively of the evening. Alvaro Cardenas. Oh, tough hand, his face goes for it. Spain able to save it, but that's going to be a 24-second violation. Double change coming in for the Ukrainians. So checking into the game for the first time, Yur Shushkin. And also, Alexander Kovliar come back in. So Tadishnik, young 17-year-old, what a game he's had so far tonight. 7 points. Little pick and pop as Tkachenko goes for another 3. That's not going to go. Train saving this one from going out of bounds. Kovliar. Penetration time, little Euro step action. Tkachenko now getting his 2nd field goal. Well, given the time difference between both the game clock and the shot clock, this should be the final offense of the game. Spain will go for one final play. Ferran Basas. Are we looking at a Spanish pick and roll scenario? Will Almanzar set it? Santi use the back screen? No, I don't think so. There's the final 3. Doesn't go. Almanzar, offensive rebound. Well, Spain, like Georgia, heading to round 2 of the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. It was already confirmed before this game. Ukraine won't qualify tonight, but they can still do it in window 3 when we come back at the end of June. Spain winning this one 78-64, a very dominant performance from the moment Ukraine got it back to 5 points in the 3rd quarter. Because Spain were magnificent. 17 points converted from Ukraine's turnovers. Only 6 fast break points this evening for Spain. And while Ukraine led in second chance points, only 15 points less in the paint tonight for La Familia. 45 in their first victory against Ukraine, but only 30 tonight. Of course, Ukraine did finish with 1 more 3-point field goal and did out-rebound Spain, but 22 assists to 15. Spain coming up with 6 steals. And what's interesting tonight, Spain, unlike the last game, only having, well, they actually did. They had more players in double figures. Jaime Fernandez with 10, like Pierre Ariola and Frank Guerra, but it was Francis Alonso of CB Briogan who led Spain. Well, time indeed to look at the highlights from this game, but a big win for Chus Mateo and his players. The Spanish players, before we get to the highlights, now will celebrate here in Oviedo with their fans. 2 victories against Ukraine. But like George has mentioned, they will both be going to round 2. Spain will just want to keep on winning because the results you get in round 1 will play a factor in round 2 if you can qualify for Doha 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup. But it was already confirmed before the game that they were going to round 2. And you got to give credit to these Ukrainian players and much love and credit to their fans. Well, it's a sweet Caroline moment indeed. Well, there was Pierre Ariola's only 3 in the game for quite a while. He was the leading scorer, and I think he signaled, Coach, I'm not going to go for the double-double even though I need 2 rebounds, but I'm done tonight. Victory on the way here for Spain. Because the only player in this team who's actually won the FIBA Basketball World Cup, and that was Izan Almansar on the back door. Well, you got to guide him. Little slip screen action. Alonso. Oh, Ukraine's defense in no man's land on that play. Well, he was the U19 FIBA Basketball World Cup winner with Spain's U19 team back in 2023. And he would like a taste of the action. The only way to do that, get selected for the final roster if they are to qualify for Doha 2027. That was Alexander Lepovi's only 3-point field goal of the evening. Because he finished with 8 points, 5 rebounds. He was 2 for 7 from the field. But it was indeed the Francis Alonso show. CB Briogan's player. And Frank Guerra. I want to see you take a 3-pointer in the BCL, man. Senor Guerra, fill of surprises indeed. Well, here was the curl screen action coming from Santi Justa. It's like poetry in motion. They make it look so easy. Well, disappointment for Spain at the Eurobasket, but simply excellence and excitement in every game they featured so far here in the Basketball World Cup qualifiers. Like Georgia, they've already qualified for round 2. Window 2 has been a huge success here for Spain. Chus Mateo's team, indeed, have been terrific. They will top Group A here just ahead of Ukraine and Georgia. But like I say, still a very interesting window to come ahead here for both these 2 teams. Well, fans, that wraps it up for Group A here. The final game for all teams so far here in window number 2. We'll be back for window number 3 at the end of June. This is the 2027 FIBA Basketball World Cup qualifiers. For now, it's good night, goodbye, and God bless.